Hello everyone, Polygon community. Welcome to the AMA with Thales Market. Thank you for joining us today. So today we are going to be joined by Daniel. Daniel is the founding member of Thales Protocol. Actually, he dons multiple hats. We'll wait for him to join in to start. Just to talk in brief about what Thales Market is all about. Thales is a novel on-chain, permissionless, and non-custodial pari-mutual market. So let's learn about pari-mutuel market today from Daniel. Hey Daniel, thank you for joining in.
Thanks for having me, and sorry for being a bit late.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you so much. I was just introducing you to the Polygon community as you don't multiple hats, founding member of Thales Protocol, member of Synthetic Sports Council, and he's also a smart contract architect. Been in DeFi for more than 5 years now um, and active with synthetics community as well. Thales is also part of synthetics ecosystem. Thank you, Daniel, for joining in and taking us through what Thales is all about. Just to start with, can you just tell us how does Thales work? What is that this one big problem that Thales is trying to deal with and resolve for the in the Web3 space for its users?
Thanks, and thanks for that pretty awesome introduction. Um, so, well, I guess simply put, Thales offers pari-mutuel and positional markets on Ethereum, and Ethereum compatible chains. And the problem it's trying to solve is to have fair and accessible markets, non-custodial, permissionless for everyone, in the world. So basically everything we are trying to do with DeFi and blockchain, and Thales takes a part of that, which is pari-mutuel positional markets, and tries to establish a framework for users. Yeah, for that. Would you like me to go to more detail? Or?
Sorry, I was on mute. Didn't realize. I was just asking, can the user create a pari-mutuel pool?
Well, simply put, yes. There are some nuances to it. Thales offers a handful of products already, and it's building a few more, and will release a few more very soon. In Thales, anyone can create a market around an asset price, and Thales supports. On Polygon, we released 4 markets, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, and Synthetics markets as part of the chain competition. I'm sure we'll chat more about that very soon. On other chains, we support a few more assets, but the long story short, Thales can support anything that has a Chainlink backed feed, which ensures that all markets are, as I was saying, fair and will be resolved as soon as possible. Um, and apart from that, and that is what is currently also available on Polygon and what we've released. Thales is also doing something that we are branding as exotic markets, where absolutely anyone can create any market they would like to create. They just need to formulate a question. It's similar to prediction markets, if you will, but in a different
Mhm.
way than what other platforms are doing, where users can basically take a position in a pari-mutuel market, so basically just bidding one against another. That's something we are planning to release very soon. And a bit further down the roadmap, but also very close, we will be doing sports markets, again, fully backed by Chainlink. Yeah, very excited about that. We'll have basketball, soccer, many leagues, lots of American sports, because that's what the odds providers can deliver with Chainlink. So yeah, feel free to guide me where I should go into more details. I am afraid I went on a rant here.
No worries. You just touched upon, the sports and pari-mutuel market, and it is a huge market. So, and it is an established one as well. So, how efficient, from efficiency point of view, does Thales compare to the sports parameters market?
Um, what Tails brings is a completely fair system, especially in this pari-mutuel manner, which will be the first way in which we will release sports markets. So just basically all participants join in a pool. They put their funds and they choose their positions. I don't know if we are talking about a sports game, they will choose who would win it. If we are talking about a sports tournament that can have, for example, 8 winners, basically you could have 8 positions and everyone would choose their favorite. Um, and what makes this special compared to your traditional sports providers or market makers is that there's like no vig. Everything is split between users. The odds are set completely by the market. So I feel it's a very interesting approach, and I'm eager to have it live. I'm eager to participate myself. However, we will also release, but in graduate steps, we'll first start with the pari-mutuel approach, and then a bit later we'll release a sports AMM, where basically you would be able to just trade. If you want to speculate on a certain match or a game, you can just buy a position for the team you believe will win, and you will also be able to sell that, which is something I know some odds makers or bookies offer you that, but I'm not sure you have that anywhere where it's that flexible that you can like take a position and 10 minutes later the odds shift and you can already take profit. You don't even have to wait for the game to start. I think we'll need to see how it plays out, but I think there's a lot of potential, and I think it could be very interesting.
Also, that gives a lot of flexibility to the user to choose positions.
Exactly, and I'm pretty sure. Obviously, we've got tokenomics. There will be some fee, but I'm like fairly positive that fee will be, much lower than any centralized, bookie would take from its users.
All boils down to winning. So, in which crypto is the winning pool? Is it
Uh,
in
yeah.
your native token?
Well, we are using stable coins or coins pegged by USD. On Optimism, we are using Synthetics USD. Starting with Synthetics, or alignment with Synthetics. On Polygon, as Synthetics is yet to establish its presence on Polygon, we've started with USDC. Obviously, the way we create our markets, we normalize all prices from 0 to 1. So you can even put like Bitcoin as an asset or whatever, because we normalize that. But I do feel it's more intuitive to just go with a stable coin, so that's what we chose. So to cut it short, on Polygon is basically USDC, and that would be for the
Sure.
foreseeable future the asset we would use. When since established presence, we might go with multi-collateral, so have options between the USD pegged coins. On Optimism, we use SUSD.
And Thalas, which is your native token, does the token holder are the token holders entitled to a protocol fee?
Short answer would be yes. It's yet to be established. Tails token is our governance token. It's the DAO token. Those that stake dailies have voting power, and they basically can decide anything about the protocol. And I'm sure at some point they will decide how exactly the fees that are being accrued from the protocol will be distributed in a way that of course rewards those that hold or stake the token. As of now, it's not yet established. We are kind of early. We are still in the phase when we are just accruing fees. I'm pretty sure like with usage and I think it will happen soon. There will be enough to start, just creating a plan on how exactly those fees would be used and making their way back, giving value back to the token holders.
Okay. And is your native token available on Polygon as well?
Actually, yes. When we released this week, we also, working very tight, and Polygon team has been nothing but amazing towards us. So working very tight with them, they helped us already establish token presence, so it's already bridged. I think it's available and whitelisted on the main bridge site. It will very soon also have support by fast bridges. I think the estimate is this week, so will be available to to just fast bridge between either mainnet or Optimism and Polygon.
All right. So we look forward to it to coming on Polygon as well. Just wanted to touch upon this one thing. I was just going through your app and trying to just do a test run. While placing the bet, I saw Q impact. What is Q impact?
It's a very good question and pretty amazing of you to have tried the DApp. I wish you all the luck in the trading competition.
Thank
um,
you.
so the way our AMM works is that it calculates the odds of the so we are now talking about our positional markets on assets backed by Chainlink, for example, on Bitcoin. So if taking into account the current Bitcoin price and the time left until the market matures and how much Bitcoin needs to move for you to either be in the money or out of the money. So if your bid is that Bitcoin will be more than, let's say, $100,000 in 1 month, we take the current price, the time left, and we calculate, what would be a fair price to offer you a position which you can exercise and get probably a pretty good profit if you are correct about that. Also, someone can take the other side and someone can say, no, I don't think Bitcoin is going to have such a large, um, pump. I believe it's going to stay well within the range, below 100K in a month. So someone else would take the other side. And what our AMM tries to do, and this is where kind of the parimutuel aspect combines with, AMM, is that it tries to kind of get itself balanced. So if people only buy the up position, so if everyone is bullish and everyone believes, there will be a large pump, Bitcoin will get to 100K or more, AMM is trying to offer a better pricing for the other side. And the way it does that, it's kind of, it's making the up token more expensive. It's making it a bit less attractive. Because if everyone were to just buy one side, basically our AMM would have a lot of risk. But this is not what we want. We kind of want to balance it out, and we want to have, to make it safer for the liquidity providers eventually. Yeah, and to just make our AMM, attractive for liquidity providers and safe in such a way. So the skew impact basically means how 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 much was one side more in demand than the other, and it's a way to try to balance that demand.
So that's how the skew impact is on your bet and the price compared with the current market.
Yes,
So
it's still very fair. Sorry for going a bit more into detail. So even if you buy all the available liquidity, it's not really your classic AMM. It's quite different. It's very customized to what we are doing. So it will still not be very punitive. So you will still get a very fairly decent price. It's just trying to really get the other side attractive as well. So it's not like you will pay twice more if you buy the whole liquidity. No, you'll just pay maybe actually you'll pay 10% more. That's the math behind it, which is fairly fair, I think, for buying like a huge exposure for very large potential profit. If your bid is correct.
yes, right. That's amazing. Also, just in case, just in case some calculations have gone wrong and the user wins, how does the loss that would happen is it distributed through your treasury?
It goes to AMM basically, and our AMM has been running for I think it's since start of the year on Optimist Chain, and since that time we started it as kind of beta. We started it with about 70,000 SUSD, and by now it has earned almost 3 times. Market has just been the way it has. So it was kind of bearish, but still coming back. And we do have people in crypto are just natively bullish, which is understandable. But as market does this, well, it just swings from looking like it's gonna go very very crazy and have a huge pump, but then it just has a decline. Basically, people have been trading with the MM and have been losing, and our MM has tripled its capital with this. So yeah, in a sense, that basically belongs to the project treasury right now. But when we open the AMM, for everyone to provide liquidity, the earnings of the AMM will go to liquidity providers. But on top of that, there is a small fee. So from every trade, you pay a small fee that's set aside, and that's what we talked, earlier on when you asked, will there be fee for token holders in the future?
All right. Also, there is Pancake Swap. There is Augur, who's already in the paramutuals market available today. So, how different is Thales over, say, a Pancake Swap or an Augur?
I think simple answer. It's very different. I think we are all doing our own thing. Augur has done prediction markets in a way that hasn't reached the success one would hope for. I have to say, Polymarket is the most successful project when we're talk about prediction markets. But Thales is really quite different than that. As I said, we've got a handful of products. We try to gamify everything. We are gamers ourselves. We also believe DeFi can be fun. That's our motto. That's what we are trying to do. So that's what we want to achieve with exotic markets, with sport markets. One thing that definitely sets us apart is the Chainlink backed feeds. A lot of prediction markets, and Poly market being one as well, they rely on optimistic oracles, which is understandable, but does mean that you have to wait a certain period of time before the market is finally resolved. When we have Chainlink backed markets, it means basically almost the very instant the match finishes, or if we are talking about Bitcoin price, it's always available on chain, as you know. And Chainlink actually has an amazing number of feeds on Polygon, which is one of the reasons Polygon was attractive to us. So it's immediately resolved. That said, we will also do our own version of an optimistic oracle, because if you want to be very flexible, and people very often want to create crazy markets, like there's this new hot thing, especially in crypto Twitter space, and people just want to bid on it, to create markets on it, and that's what we kind of call exotic markets. It's much wider than that, but that would be one good example. And realistically, there's no way to get an aggregated Chainlink feed for that. You just have to have this optimistic oracle, and we created our own implementation of that. We had the token holders elect 5 people or 5 wallets, which they delegated basically to, which will, and this body would be resolving such markets. But we still try to keep it performant. So we still, like the worst case scenario, you have to wait 24 hours, which is still far superior to other optimistic oracles, at least right now.
Yes, it does. With experiencing your DApp, and also doing a bit of research on the others that you mentioned. So yeah, it does talk about how efficiently it is done with Thales. In the introduction, I did mention this part. That Thales is part of synthetic ecosystem. Can you just touch upon and let us know as to how does being part of this well-established and well-known synthetic ecosystem work for Thales?
I feel like it made it a lot easier for us. So just a bit of history. I won't go too deep into it, but Synthetics had this module, it's been already 2 years. Like time flies, of course. And the module was called binary options, and they kind of figure out this module is not like fully, I'm not sure how to phrase it, but basically it was a bit special compared to the rest of what synthetics is doing. And they kind of felt a way to scale that, and they loved this module. It was really getting a lot of traction, but it was a bit of an overhead technically to maintain something that's not really that related to the rest of your code base. So what they did is they offered this module project, and they offered support to whomever takes that on and makes it a project by itself. And this is where we came in. We made the pitch. I'm very involved with synthetics for a long time, very very active. I'm there in the Spartan Council, the governing body. So I guess that helped, with the pitch, and they approved, giving this project to us and supporting us, and they seeded the project. Um, and we just kind of were onboarded. Like new projects, when they kind of start from zero. We definitely didn't start from zero. Not that it's still kind of difficult to make your way in DeFi with so many new projects, being spun out every day, so much noise. But still, we were kind of onboarded with this amazing community of, like, there's 30,000 people in Synthetics Discord. And it's, one of the blue chips, it's one of the pioneers. So it was really helpful. And of course, the founding members, Kane and Jordan, who were in touch with us and who were mentoring us along the way and sharing their contacts. So yeah, very, very helpful, and they were quite amazing.
Amazing, a big community. Thales is a DAO, right?
Yep.
It's a well-established DAO with 30,000 members in Discord, which is a good number.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's Synthetics, but yeah, there is a bit smaller, but we're getting there.
Mhm. Okay. And when was Thales started?
Well, the inception per se, like when the project team got together, was about. Uh, Actually, we just had like 1 year anniversary, 1 year birthday, if you will. And then we released the token somewhere in September last year, and we released to Optimism somewhere in December, end of year, and yeah, just now we released to Polygon.
Okay. Can you just touch upon in the journey from September till now? What would the achievements of Thales be?
Well, that would take a lot of time, to be honest. In this short time, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but we did have a lot of things happening, definitely. So we got together somewhere in April last year, four of us. In 2 months' time, we already had a working dApp based on what we inherited from Synthetics, but we still applied a lot of changes, even in the backend. We went live on the mainnet with a peer-to-peer order book, and then we released the token. We basically established the DAO. We established staking for the native token and the tokenomics, and we did a massive airdrop to all the Synthetics, previous, historical, and current and future stakers, as just a way of saying thanks for all the support. Um, and then as Optimism was ramping up, because Synthetics was moving to Optimism as well, we've released to Optimism when they opened their EVM for everyone. That was about in December. And we also came up with this AMM approach. So just to elaborate, we used to do an order book, which I think it's pretty cool concept. But in DeFi, people really expect to have an AMM. They really expect to just have like one click buy. An order book kind of requires more patience. So yeah, we came up with the logic for the AMM. I think that was pretty, like, that's the thing that sets us apart really, and it's pretty good experience to trade with the AMM. Um, and we also did a couple of fun things. We have our own game actually. A community member just volunteered, experienced game developer, and said, do you guys want me to make a game about Thales as a tutorial about how to trade on Thales? Um, it's available. Maybe we can share the URL later if anyone wants to try it. It's a pretty cool and fun way of learning about Thales. We also have this like battle royale on-chain game. We call it Thales Royale, where you basically get again in a pari-mutuel pool with a bunch of other people, and you all speculate on the next price movement of a certain asset. And if you get it right, you move to the next round. If not, you just lost, and that's it. Kind of the idea came, while watching the Squid Game show. So that's something that's evolved a lot. We are doing a lot of NFTs, and we are tying that up with that battle royale game. Um, and yeah, I guess we came to talking to Polygon guys, and they expressed that they are really keen on having synthetics projects coming over to Polygon. We felt Talis is a pretty good starting point because unlike the other ecosystem projects and synthetics itself, Talis doesn't currently depend on synths in the terms that it cannot function without them. So yeah, we just got that conversation happening. We started working on adapting our DApp and code for Polygon, which wasn't so much work, but yeah, and we prepared this trading competition and the framework around it, and I think that's where we are more or less. I'm sure I omitted some things, but don't want to just keep going.
Okay. So you just touched upon, the association with Polygon. So can you just walk us through the incentivized trading competition that's there on Polygon?
Sure. So yeah, when we started chatting with the guys from Polygon, we talked about how to promote this together, what makes sense, and as I kind of already relayed, Tails is kind of a project where you need to be competitive, and I'm very competitive myself, so I enjoy having these competitions. We decided to sponsor it. Polygon put up 15,000 Matic from their end, which I feel it's pretty generous and pretty amazing of them. We topped that up with 50,000 Tails. And then because we want this to be approachable for everyone, we don't want this to be, a well-dominated competition. We have two categories. One is basically where it's ranking people but by net profit. So the more profit you have, net-wise, the better you'll be ranked. But there's this other category that's, meant to be for everyone, or just to get everyone a chance to participate and win those pretty cool rewards. And this category just ranks by percentage profit. It has a minimum threshold of at least 10 USDC traded, which I think is achievable for most people who use Polygon. Yeah, so if you just make one trade or more trades that sum up to 10 USDC, you'll be eligible for these rewards. And in both categories, the first 50 places get rewards. I think we have like 50 unique traders by now, so I feel there are pretty good odds for someone who participates to make it in those, yeah, in the positions that will be earning rewards.
So it's like as less as 10 USDC or USDT, and you can participate in this competition.
Exactly. I mean, you can do it with less, kind of, if you swing, if you can do it with 5 if you do one buy and then you sell it later. So it's about volume. So total volume needs to be 10. So you could do it with less even.
Mm, yes. Just this one point, because I was going through your website where it states that while taking part in Polygon incentivized competition, uh, the transferring up and down token between wallet is not a valid approach. Only interactions with the AMM directly will be deemed valid. Can you explain this?
Yeah. So what we are doing is when you buy a positional or you buy a position, we actually mint a token to represent that position. So that token is a classic ERC20 token, which is transferable. You get that into your wallet. You can view it. So basically, just a normal ERC20 token. But because of the nature of the competition, we need to calculate profit. And if you obtain that token by having someone sending it to you, we cannot really know how much you spent on it because someone has just sent it to you for free. So that means infinite profit for you. So just because, there is no way to calculate that, and there is no way to do that through our DApp. Our DApp is about trading with the AMM. So it's just a rule to make sure, we don't have such cases where it's basically impossible to calculate someone's profit.
So it's kind of balancing things and making it more better, transparent, and a level playing field for everybody.
Exactly. I mean, we are all about that. Just having a, and that's what pari-mutual markets are about to us. Just completely fair system for everyone.
Yes. So Thales is launched on Polygon. Can you just tell us about what made you choose Polygon?
Um, I mean, it was a really no-brainer for me. I was chatting actually for a while, but it was, you have to choose the timing with this thing, and the timing has to be when you're kind of mature enough to go multi-chain, because otherwise you're just diluting your resources and probably, gonna end up with having imperfect code and potentially even some security flows. So as we were maturing, we have some, let's say, mutual acquaintances between, myself and Thales seed investors and Polygon, and we just started this conversation. And as I was saying, the guys from Polygon, they're very keen on getting not only Thales but also the whole synthetics ecosystem, and they want to get synths on Polygon chain. I feel Polygon is the chain that has, the most users, or at least the most organic users. Um, and it just keeps growing and keeps building itself to a point where it's really difficult to even track all the news coming from Polygon. Um, so we definitely wanted to have Tails available for such a large user base, and of course, the cheap fees, because Tails has, the AMM. It's a very complex product, and we just talked about this the other day in our Discord. Someone asked why even on Polygon our transactions are kind of more expensive than, let's say, a Uniswap swap. And the reason for that is that we are doing very complex, math in our contracts. We are minting tokens, we are burning them. All of that has to happen for the AMM to work the way it is, and that happens on Polygon. And still, a transaction is like 10 cents, and that's pretty amazing, even though it took like 5 million gas. So obviously, going back to the first thing I said, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Right, so it's about adoption. It's about the team. It's about the understanding.
Yep,
Yeah,
just user experience, I guess.
the user experience. Yes, as we say, correct. The user experience has to be amazing, and that's what all intend to do. Uh, and Daniel, with this, let's open up the Q&A with our community. I'm sure they would have some questions to ask and to know more about Thales. So,
Sure.
for our community, please just uh, tap in on the speaker request, and we will get you up to ask questions. Chinmay, my colleague, will take on this Q&A session.
Yep, yep. So, guys, don't be shy. Just hit request. I'll take you guys up if you have any question. It seems like we went pretty thorough and we've answered all the questions.
We definitely were.
But yeah, I'm sure, like, like the community must be excited about all the great features that you guys have and the trading competition, of course. And like you said, like you are competitive yourself. Maybe we can, compete ourselves someday.
Definitely. Just, just let me know what's your account, and let's fight it out. On-chain, decentralized.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wonder, like, from the community, like, is there anyone else who would like to challenge us? Just hit request. I'll take you guys up.
Yeah, let's make a team so that we have the odds of winning with us.
Yeah.
Anyone for any questions? We are happy to take on. Of course, the team is available on their Discord. The Thales team is available on Discord. They're available on their social media account on Twitter as well for any questions that you may have. Uh, yes, of course, it is good to go and experience the app so that we get a lot more understanding about the parameters market. But any questions if you have, we are happy to take on as well. Daniel, there will be some of them who would have, joined a little later whilst we were talking. Can you just once again repeat if which are the markets that are supported by Thales on parameters?
Sure, sure. So on Polygon for the trading competition, we have markets on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, and SNX tokens. We are launching new markets every 3 days, rolling markets. So maturities being in like 3 days or 6 days or 9 days, and basically you choose the strike price you like. If you think Matic will go over $2 in 9 days, which everything going on might happen. You would buy an up token, and you'd get pretty nice profit if that happens. So yeah, and inviting everyone to, as we said, give the trading competition a chance. The entry is pretty low, so and the odds, sorry, the rewards are pretty nice. So yeah, definitely worth a shot in my opinion.
Yes, and the winning comes in the stable currency. That's what Daniel did mention to us. So we have Ranji dot E who would want to ask the question. Do you want to take your question?
Yeah. So I don't want to like kind of have him repeat everything, but I kind of like join in and then I have to like go away and take another call. But so I'm kind of wondering if it's possible in like a minute or two if Daniel could basically summarize what a parimutuel market is and what Thales does. Sorry if that's like if it's boring for other people, but I'm sure like there are other people who join later and they are still confused as well because I use Pancake Swap and other like platforms quite a bit, and I'm still trying to figure out what the difference other than the competition and the prediction markets, which I understand.
No, no issue at all. I'm pretty sure every time I try to explain it, I come up with a different answer. So maybe it just
Yeah, it
means I
happens
need
to me
more
all the
practice.
time, and every time it's better than the last one, right? Because you always
I,
like,
I hope so. I hope so. I
yeah.
mean, I have to say, we are doing both. So we are doing pari-mutuel markets and we are doing positional markets, and we are also combining those. By definition, pari-mutuel is kind of what the way I grasp it is. It's like pulled together. You get with and imagine a scenario. You watch a game with your friends at home. You watch a sport game, or you just in contact with them, and you agree. Let's put some money on the table, and let's everyone pick a team, or if it's a tournament going on, like or a poker tournament, pick a player who you think it will win. You put all that money on the table together, and you write down your positions, and basically only one of those positions can win. Like it has to be mutual exclusive. You can't have two winners, and basically those at the end that chose the winning position, they split all the whole pot. So it's a fair way to create a market where the odds are completely market driven. And what Thales does is it puts all of that into smart contracts. So it just takes away the trust factor. You don't have to chase anyone for your profits, for money. Like it's there, right? It's on contract, and the winners just claim their winnings. And that's one part of what we're doing. The other part is this AMM, so automated market maker on positional markets, and that has its origin in binary options, and I'm saying binary options because maybe that's something that you can, hook onto. That's maybe more familiar. But we've taken that from binary into like more than binary. You can have more position. We also have range markets. But to summarize that, I was kind of running some examples, but a very simple example, like the price of Bitcoin, I guess right now it's about, I don't know, 42, 43K. You are pretty sure that in a week Bitcoin will be more than 50K. You would buy on up position from our AMM. The AMM would give you a price for that position. Realistically, because it's out of the money, so Bitcoin has to move for you to be correct. It will give you good odds. It will give you like 3 times leverage. So if and then 1 week goes by, and in 1 week, if Bitcoin is really indeed more than 50K, you basically have tripled your profit. But if Bitcoin isn't more than 50K, you've lost everything. It's all or nothing market. But in the meantime, you can trade with the MM, you can take profits quickly, you can hedge, you can do everything. I don't know if that was a 1 minute answer, but I hope it was detailed enough to clarify what Thales is doing.
Yeah, that explains a lot. Basically, like, I mean, you got to have a little bit of fundamentals in trading, either the traditional markets or in crypto, to understand that. But yeah, so I guess like the main thing is like, that, and people like me who are a little bit, a little bit bearish on playing prediction markets and going to binary positions. It's great that there are more than up or down, but you can go in a range, so it doesn't have to go hit a certain point, but it could probably hit an up movement. Is that how it is? Is like an up movement, but some kind of a range that it, as long as it hits that range, in so it's gone up, but it is within that range. It doesn't have to hit the upper range as long as it crosses the lower range, right? But you can do that the other direction also. I could also short it and say in a
Yeah.
bearish position that it might actually drop, right?
Well, what I was explaining there is that as the market moves, if you have bought an up position and market does a big pump in 1 day, you can
Mm-hmm.
take huge profit. I mean, it's very leveraged. Like if you're trading out of money options, so basically, speculating on large price movements, and you can basically speculate like for a 1 week range, 2 week range, 1 year range. Like we can support everything with our framework. You can get pretty good amount of leverage. So it also ties in with kind of with futures markets. But the second thing I mentioned with range markets is that you would take a punt on whether Bitcoin would be in a certain range at a certain strike date. And what this does is that using Black-Scholes algorithm for options pricing, it gives you like pretty good potential profit. Like I don't know if Bitcoin is now 43K or something. If you were to punt that Bitcoin will stay between 40 and 45K in 2 weeks, you'll probably be able to triple your money, right? It looks simple, but that's just math. Like the math says
Right,
those are the odds, and our AMM will
right,
say, I'm gonna be fair to you. I'll take a bit of fee, very small fee, but I'll give you those odds. So here you
right. So
go.
what you put down in that making that prediction, if you get it wrong, then you lose the like that X that you could win, or you just lose what you
No,
put down.
you lose everything. It's all or nothing. So there's no sugarcoating that. That's the very essence of binary
Yeah,
options, and
yeah.
it
I mean
just
that's
spreads out
well,
everything. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, right. So what I'm saying is like that in normal like prediction markets or binary options or whatever, it's like that if the prediction if the reward for it is 3x, for example, then you could lose 3x, or you could
No.
just lose x, but you could win
Yeah.
3x.
Exactly, and that's I feel it's superior to futures because there's no
Yeah,
liquidation per
right.
se. Like there's no one red candle that's gonna get you liquidated. Like
Okay. Yeah.
you're alive and you're waiting for your maturity. In the meantime, you might be able to take profit. It probably will, if price has its wings, but you won't ever get liquidated. So it's just
Mhm.
at the end, at the maturity date, if you are still, if you still have your position, it's like all or nothing. That's when it's exercisable, basically.
Right. And with the pool sort of thing, I would just call them pools. I don't know how else to describe it. They are kind of like brackets where you're basically saying that, a certain team is going to get into the NBA playoffs and like they're going to win or whatever, right? Or
Yeah,
it's
that's
more like
pretty good
NCAA.
example.
But right. So if that is the case, then in that sort of situation, do you think there is a way for people to kind of get together and pool their money in like a Discord channel and the Telegram thing, and then kind of play that algorithm, or is there like protection against that? To say like some people basically say that it's gonna like then this is what we're gonna do and we're gonna put together, and then they can game that, or is that is the intention to game it?
Well, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Like one thing I would just say to that is we are seeing that all the time. Like if you watch channels on Discord, especially in synthetics, people always want to bet with one another. They always want to put money together. But there's this problem of trust. And just recently we had on Twitter like this bet, will Luna be, I don't know, in 1 year, and that's a perfect example of a binary option. And they had to find this third party escrow, who's another famous influencer, to kind of just take that bet for them. And Taylor just solves that with smart contracts. So, completely trustless. You don't have to. So yeah,
Right.
if people get together in Discord, they can just say, let's do this. Oh, but how do we trust one another that will come through? Well, let's create a market in Tails, and then we don't need to trust one another. There's a smart contract that does it for us.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Daniel. I mean, the rest of it, like any other confusion, I'll have to basically play with it first, and then if there's any confusion, I could probably just like take it up in Discord or something.
Exactly. I mean, we are nothing but responsive in Discord, and we love to have you. So feel free.
Sure. Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Can we have Ashwit with your question? All right. So thank you, Daniel, for your time today and to run us through Thales market, mutuals market, and a bit about things in detail. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Polygon community. Have a wonderful day ahead and enjoy your time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for having me again. It was blessed.
Daniel, it was great interacting with you. Thank you.